Hey everyone, it's been a minute and this will probably be a little bit of a longer video. I want to hop on and let you know that I have, as you know, been showing up here and doing a Reels challenge, and I have not posted in a few days. And I wanted to hop on and just talk about the process, because part of the reason I'm doing this Reels challenge and showing up is because I know for other people who want to show up and share their voice, and for other entrepreneurs and coaches, and that this process is hard for so many of us, right? And so being authentic and vulnerable and sharing about every step of it is part of the journey for me, and is part of what I hope is valuable for all of you. And so there's multiple reasons why I'm showing up here more. One of them is I want to start cataloging and distilling the moments of growth in my life so that I can, for myself, scroll through my Instagram and see all of these moments of growth or wisdom that was given to me, or pieces of my life, the good and the difficult, and all of it in one place. Because honestly, for me, it's really wonderful to be able to go back and to scroll. And it's also a huge point of growth just showing up here, to be unapologetic about my full self, to share all of my different passions and all the parts of me, and to share my voice on a regular basis is such an edge and such a beautiful place of growth for me. And I know it's part of my healing. It's part of my next step in my entrepreneurship journey, but just in my life journey. Being able to show up and speak this way is huge. I spent so many years shy and stuck in people pleasing and afraid that people would leave if I showed all the different sides of myself. And so this is huge for me, to just be like, you know what, this is my little corner of the internet, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to speak from my heart, and I'm going to do this in a way that feels good for me, and not worry about how it's going to land or how it's going to be received. This is such a part of my own empowerment and healing. And another reason I'm showing up here is because I am building a business that I deeply love. I have found that building courses and programs and holding space and holding virtual circles and one-on-one coaching is my calling. Like, I spent so long in college trying to figure out what I was made for and what I would be best at, what I would enjoy the most. And this is the thing that feels the most right. Like, I can see how I was meant to do this since I was a child. This isn't just something that I've learned and it's fun to do, which it is, but this is my calling. And I have historically had some struggles around building wealth, and it is something that I am massively changing in my life right now. It's just so exciting. And so yeah, that's another reason I'm showing up here, to find the people who want to be in community with me, who want to connect to my free offerings, my membership, my courses, my programs, who want to work with me, and also to build community. That is one of the biggest reasons that I'm hopping on here and building this space, is because I want to find like-hearted souls, those who view life in a similar way and want similar things, so that we can help each other navigate this world, so that we can feel less alone, so that we can be on a path of healing and growth and joy and love and kindness and creation together. And it's amazing, the people that I've met through the online spaces that I've joined. It has completely changed my life. I felt so alone before, and I realized that there's like millions of people out there who share my heart and my dreams and my hopes for the world. And it's made me feel so much less alone, and I want to keep growing that. I want a community of wild hearts. That's why I named our community home Wild Heart Haven, because I want a community of people who absolutely love life, and even though they go through struggles, have a deep hope and commitment to making their life beautiful, and a deep knowing that life is meant to be beautiful, and that we're meant to fully be ourselves and live lit up and live excited every morning for what we get to do, the people we get to meet, the work we get to do, the nourishing that we get to experience through just being alive on this planet, and people who are good-hearted and who want to see good change in the world, and who are creative and make art and music and live their life not the way society has told them, but the way that's true to their heart. That's what Wild Heart means to me. Is even though everyone in your life might think it's ridiculous to leave a corporate job and go travel in a van, if that's what lights you up, that's what you're doing, because you realize how short life is, and you want to make the most out of your time here. And that success, yes, money is a part of that, but success is also having the freedom to be yourself, having the time to be with the ones you love, doing the things that you love. It's so much deeper, right? What being rich is, what being wealthy is, to me, is money, because money does give freedom, but it's also just really having a life that you enjoy. So yeah, that's why I'm showing up here. And to be honest, I think the last few days I've been struggling because this whole marketing, branding, messaging thing, when you're creating a brand that is your authentic self, and I want people to know when they land on this page if it's for them, if this is going to be a good addition to their life, if they want to click follow, if they want to join the community. And I feel like I have to have such clear, focused statements in order for people to know that. And what's been hard is, those are all the reasons I listed right now of why I'm showing up for this space. But when I think about the work that I do, there's also a lot of diversity. And I really want to help people manifest that life. Like, that's a big part of what I do, is conscious life design, is wild-hearted living, which to me means getting in touch with who you really are, and then getting the courage to shine that out, to show up, to share your voice, and consciously designing a life that you deeply love and going for it, knowing that there's no limits, and it's knowing that all of us are going to die and we don't have forever. And so how does that change how you live your life now? And that's a huge part of the work that I do. I also care deeply about female empowerment, about healing around sexuality and shame and trauma, and helping women to feel safe in their bodies, helping us to reclaim our empowerment, our sovereignty, and our right to feel pleasure, and to see our sensuality as something beautiful, our sexuality as something beautiful, to see our bodies as something sacred, and our expression and our wants and our desires as these things that are guideposts leading us to what we're meant for, and all the good we can create in the world. And so there's so much around female empowerment, sisterhood, healing all of the pieces of the patriarchy, healing from abuse and trauma, and that's such a big passion of mine. I also really love working with entrepreneurs and helping people to build businesses that they love, and brainstorming, workshopping, coming up with ways for them to get their gifts into the world. And all of it really does come back to healing and empowerment and finding what lights you up the most, because I really feel like the whole world is going to change if we can all choose a path of self-healing and figuring out what lights us up the most and going for that. It'll create such drastic change in the world, because so many people are living unfulfilled lives, and it causes them to do things that aren't in alignment with their truest self, with their heart, and it causes overconsumption. It causes so many things. And so I feel like when I'm going to hop on here, it's like, well, what am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about manifestation and creating your best life and all of the, how manifestation can be a buzzword, but what is it really underneath it, and how you can do it whether you say you're a spiritual person or not? Manifestation principles will work. That's a huge thing I can talk about. Am I going to talk about healing sexuality and sensuality and loving myself and healing from trauma? Am I going to talk about healing from anxiety and intense, dissociation, derealization, PTSD-like symptoms? Am I going to talk about rituals that I love, or my spirituality, or the way that I am pagan and based in nature, and how it's a little different than other people, and how I also have this huge science background, and so I'm this very spiritual but also very logical, analytical, science-based person, and what does that mean? And how does that all lead into an offer? How does that all lead into someone saying yes and joining my community, joining my programs, and what things should I offer next? And it can get overwhelming. And it's interesting because it's almost like I have so many passions and so much to say that I end up saying nothing, and that I end up feeling nothing because I get overwhelmed with the direction of it. And I see people who are very specific that are, I help middle-aged women going through menopause to feel sexy in their bodies, or I help, and it's so wonderful to have these niched moments and these niche offers and programs, but that's just like not me. And I have such a hard time articulating if somebody asks, well, what is it that you do? What is it that Wild Heart Haven's about? What is it that your page is about? What is it that your membership is about? I can say it for specific offers, but there's just so much. There's just so much here. And I honestly do feel like there's a connection. I feel like what I am most about is holding space for people to connect to themselves, find what really lights them up, decide what life they want, and freaking go for it. And then in community, get the support and the tools and the inspiration and the motivation and the accountability that they need to make it happen. I hold space for connections, for community building. I hold space for healing. And the way to get to my best self, my best life, and to help others also get to their best self, their best life, and their best business, and all the goals that their heart desires is through self-healing, is through manifestation work, is through community. And so maybe that's clear. Maybe that's clear, but there's just so much. And it's hard to know, should I be marketing myself as somebody who helps people achieve their dreams, or should I be marketing myself as someone who helps women specifically heal and come back into their empowerment and to embrace their full self and create a life of their dreams from that place? I think I'm here for all of these things. And as you can see, it's almost 12 minutes. It's really hard for me to condense that into a 90-second reel. For any of you that are interested in human design and astrology, I am what's called a manifesting generator. And whether you're science-based or you're woo-based, something that I find really interesting about things like astrology and human design and these different modalities is sometimes it gives you language for something that you know to be true about yourself. Whether you believe that's because of, the position of the stars and the energy or all those things, or whether you're very science-based and maybe don't understand those principles or believe in them, it can still give you such amazing language. And so for me, being a manifesting generator means that I can have a lot of passions and start a lot of projects and maybe not finish every single one, but that's where my genius lies, is holding a lot of different things and finding that relationship between them. And that's given me a lot of permission, because I just realized that I'm not the only person like this, and our culture really wants you to focus, like be a lawyer, be a doctor, pick one thing. Even in marketing and business, it's like pick the thing that you want to do right now, niche down so people know they want to work with you. And it's for someone like me who always has a lot of things going on, but sees how much they interrelate and help each other to grow. That can be a little bit hard. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. I hope that me being honest and vulnerable and unedited is helping any of you out there that also might feel overwhelmed about reaching for your dreams or being an entrepreneur, showing up online, or just walking through life when it's hard sometimes to know what direction to focus on. And I know in my heart that if I keep showing up, all of the pieces are going to keep falling into place. They already have been. I already see connections between things that I never realized were connected before. I've been able to succinctly say in 3 sentences before what it is that I do. I just can't do that every day. Some days I feel scattered, and some days I worry that if I show up in that kind of space that people are not going to know whether this page is right for them. They're not going to want to follow, and I'm going to miss that opportunity to build community. And those are the fears that come up. And what I'm doing instead is hopping on here and being honest and talking about it. I got out of a workshop this morning for somatics around seeing our anger as a gift, and I already have all these ideas for a workshop I want to do for women specifically. So much of us have been violated or abused or traumatized, and owning our anger and stepping into empowerment with that, oh my gosh, is it so healing. And so I want to keep showing up and be able to create offerings, to create workshops and resources that are in alignment with my heart and my healing as I continue on this journey. And it's okay if there's a lot of different topics. It's okay if I'm talking directly to women one week and talking to all genders the next week. It's okay if I'm talking about creating a life that you love, or doing self-healing work, or spirituality, or science behind things. All of it is beautiful. And I think the thread that weaves them all together is that I'm sharing from my own journey, my own commitment to build a life that I deeply love, and to not waste my time on this planet, and to heal myself so that I can actually attract and go for all the things that I love the most. And I know that's going to be useful. I just know that's going to be useful for so many different people. And so I would love to hear your thoughts. If all of this feels incredibly scattered, if all of it lights you up, would you rather I was a coach that just focused on one thing that directly spoke to you all the time? Or are you inspired by all of this variety and seeing the connections between all of it? Because all of it has to do with building and living a life that you deeply love. And that is something that we all want. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you so much for being here. I will record a 90-second reel that links to this. Maybe even post this full one on Instagram, even though it won't be the technical 90-second reel. Maybe this should have been a live. But I'm glad that I'm still showing up and figuring this out and doing it live and doing it public, and that's fine. And I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the supportive messages that I get. And I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you again soon.